All right, thank you. Hello everyone, good afternoon. My name is Tim Appnel. I am a Principal Product Manager from Ansible, and I'm here to talk about Ansible, what we are, and how you can automate a little bit of the philosophy behind our tools and what we're doing with VMworld, or VMware here. I have been working, Ansible started off as an open source tool. I've been working with it since version 0.5, which means I've actually been working with this tool longer than Ansible's been a company. Ansible is an independent company, later became an independent company around that software, and then we were later acquired by Red Hat more recently, so we're part of the Red Hat family. So I'm going to be talking about what is Ansible and what it's doing. So let's just dive in here. So Ansible is a way of automating your workflows, your servers, and your process. It perfectly describes that infrastructure and how you want it to exist in your environment. It's also an automation engine, and we also offer a tool, Ansible Ansible Tower, that is for running Ansible across your entire enterprise. It does a lot of different things that I'll cover momentarily. Things that really drive Ansible is that it is simple, it's human readable. It's not for coding, it's for declaring the state that you want your systems to be in. And it allows you to get productive very quickly, very easily. It's very powerful that it can do app deployment, configuration management, different types of workflow orchestration through across your entire life cycle. And it's also agentless. This is something that makes us unique and different to a lot of other tools out in the market. We do not require you to install software on your servers before you can begin managing them or using them. Ansible is driven primarily through SSH and doesn't take up resources when it's not running. So it's a lot more efficient way of pushing things out to your servers rather than pulling them out. It's also complete automation. Here I have up a screen or a diagram that shows the different types of functional areas that Ansible covers, where you would need individual tools to cover each one of those quadrants. Ansible gives you something that is integrated into one cohesive tool that lets you do it all from one place. So we can do provisioning, application deployment, configuration management, in addition to orchestration, the type of batch SSH jobs that many organizations have been doing in the past. Typically I'd stop here for a demo, but we're having a little technical difficulties that I'm not able to do that today. If you're here at the show, please stop by our booth. I believe we're at 863. If not, we have a lot of information at ansible.com under the resources tab, where we do webinars and demonstrations there. So let me talk a little bit about the philosophy that's behind Ansible. It's a little bit harder. I would have liked to have shown an example that this follows onto, but we'll make do with what we have. Ansible, when I talk about how it's used, what it drives it, there's a certain philosophy behind it. Unlike Ruby on Rails, it's not opinionated software, but there's definitely a strong philosophy behind it. It is very much a Swiss Army knife. It can adapt to many different workflows, many different usages, but there are some ways that are better suited than others. And this is some of what goes into our thinking when we create these tools and the ways that it can really benefit you. So the one is that complexity kills productivity. And we don't see that as a marketing slogan. We actually build that into our tool when we design it, when we're adding features to it. We're constantly thinking about how can we reduce complexity, and we strive to simplify what we're doing and how people can automate their workflows. We also push to and recommend people optimize for readability. Our playbooks are YAML-based, declarative ways of stating your environment and the shape you want it to get into. It's very human readable. It's not code. It's not programming. It's this declarative means of stating the way you want things to be, using the hundreds of modules that we have already built into the system. So it's very readable. You can show it to your manager, you can show it to auditors, you can show it to your coworkers, and they can understand and read it. Done correctly, this turns into your documentation. And the other, and this is something I've been saying already so far in this presentation, is to think declaratively. This is not a programming environment. Playbooks are not for writing code, they are for declaring the state you want your servers in. So this makes it much easier to pick up. It makes it much easier for people that are not programmers to use. Operations people that are not trained as developers are able to learn and use Ansible and become very productive very quickly. So as I mentioned earlier, we have an open source tool. It's a command line tool called Ansible, just simply Ansible. We sometimes refer to it as core product. It's freely available. You can download it from different package managers, or if you're a Python person, pip under GPL3. On top of that, we have a commercial tool called Tower, and Tower helps you run and use Ansible across your organization. So it gives role-based access control and gives you the visibility into what's happening in your organization and who's using it, and to be able to do self-service to these type of automation workflows, things like that. We have user festivals that are coming up. We have one coming to Brooklyn very soon. If you're interested in that, stop and see me. I will be one of the speakers there. We'll be doing much more in-depth than the few minutes I have here today to present to you, but it'll cover a lot of in-depth usage from beginners all the way through to advanced, covering many different topics from networks to network devices that we can automate, VMs, working with things like VMware, vSphere, vCenter, public cloud providers like Amazon, containers, things like that. So from use cases through technical deep dives in that regard. And if you're new, here's some great links for getting started with both Tower. There's the Getting Started link that has a lot of the material that I've drawn from my demo, but also teaching yourself to use Ansible and get productive minutes to hours. And since we're VMworld, I put in a link to information about how we pull together, how we work together with VMware. If you're here at the show, you can stop and see us at booth 863. And that is what I have. So thank you.